All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and this is from our Kermit Lynch Italian French tasting down at the Edge Steak and Bar. And, well, I mean, you know, we haven't managed to get things going down there yet. We only had about 7 people at this event. You know, I always tell people, those are the best events to go to. You know, you get more to drink. And we left wine on the table for the staff. So, you know, those of you in Miami, you're really missing out on some great events. Like I said, they're smaller events to me, always better. You get more individual attention. You get more wine, even more important. And Aaron Brooks is putting out some outstanding food. Thanks to Anthony Panoni for providing the wines for this event. He's got half of Kermit Lynch's portfolio and taking on more and more all the time. Some of our favorite wines from France and Italy from Kermit Lynch's book. He is one of the pioneers of, you know, some areas like Bandol, which he's got 4 of the top producers in Bandol. Actually, he spent quite a bit of time there. He raised his kids there, and he loves this part of France, the south of France, one of the most exciting parts of France in terms of wine values and new wine discoveries from old, you know, vineyards and things like that. And like I said, Kermit raised his kids here. He likes it so much in this part of France. And this wine here from Domaine de la Tourbonne, Bandol Blanc, I think 10% of the wine is white in Bandol or less, and it's a blend of Clairette and Ugni Blanc. You really notice a little briny character, you know, due to its proximity to the sea in the wine here, and a slight waxy texture to this wine, also medium-bodied, but light and refreshing on the finish. This wine is a very classic vintage, 2011, and you notice the clay, chalky minerality coming out in this wine, too, from the soils, and biodynamic farming here, a really nice, refreshing white, very unique and very typical of what you find from Bandol. Excellent juice at $29. All right, the Sauvignon Blanc from Sesti from Montalcino. It's not a white wine. Well, we do have their red wines. You know, they're not known for white wine in Montalcino, but the family that owns this property said we need to have some white wine to serve it to people in the daytime. So they like Sauvignon Blanc. They like those refreshing white varietals. And this kind of reminds me more of a white Bordeaux. It's got some nice melon and fig fruit here, but still has that zesty character of the Sauvignon Blanc on the finish. Nice tropical fruit showing on the tongue here as well. Nice backbone of acidity in this wine. Refreshing, but still juicy at the same time. Only 14 cases of this wine came to Florida. Wow, $22.50. A really nice and unique, different bottle of Sauvignon Blanc from Montalcino. All right, and then the Compte Abbatucci Faustine Rosé from Corsica. And this is the Ssciaccarellu varietal. I don't know, I've never heard of some of these varietals on Corsica are so old. They're not grown anywhere else. And a really unique wine. It was my favorite of the first 3, the Rosé, and this is the entry level from this producer. They make some wines from heirloom varietals that are supposedly just incredible. Some of the most unique wines you'll have, these wines from Corsica, and you know, very high level of quality here. They've been making wine on the island of Corsica for a very long time. This wine's got a really pretty bouquet, some cherry and strawberry fruit, and you really notice that sea kind of briny character coming out in this wine here, some pretty floral notes, and this is an extension of the Alps. It kind of juts out like a spine into the Mediterranean Ocean, so you get that terroir from continental Europe, and you get that maritime influence here. Really crisp but subtle, and more about the minerality. This wine is excellent at $28.60, one of the best rosés I've had this year. All right, coming into some great Beaujolais, which Beaujolais kind of gets a bad name. You know, this is an area of the southern part of Burgundy where you can make wines from the cru areas that will age for 20 or 30 years from more. I remember my visit to Beaujolais on our Kermit trip. We had a 1978 vintage Beaujolais at one of his properties. It was still fantastic, reminiscent of old Burgundy. This is from the northern part of Burgundy, and, you know, Beaujolais, rather, that's been harmed by maybe this Nouveau crap that made their half-made wine, but the crus of Beaujolais really making some of the best values in all of France. And Kermit also helped put Beaujolais on the map, his gang of 4, legendary. Moulin, one of the longest lived of all the crus, along with Morgon. This one's got a nice peppery spice to the nose, some wild strawberry jam-like fruit, a bit of an earthy kind of barnyardy character there as well, and some green notes, but really well balanced. 2010, a great vintage for Beaujolais, rich and layered on the palate, really well built with wonderful concentration of red and blackberry fruit, and lovely freshness on the finish here, that spice showing through from the nose at the end. Excellent juice at $20. incredible value. Mas Champart from Saint Chinian, a Rouge from the Languedoc. This wine's a blend of Syrah, Grenache, and Mourvèdre. And this is Saint Chinian's the name of the appellation down here. Some limestone on the property, and there's also some Cabernet Franc they're growing down here. It's not in this wine, or didn't make it into it this year, but really unique varietal for that part of France. This wine's aged in concrete and in some oak. They like the freshness that the concrete gives the wine. A little bit of animal here, which you get from that Mourvèdre, smoky bacon fat, good amount of dark berry fruit, and some dried herbs. This wine's got lovely freshness, a lovely elegance and finesse for wine from the south. Some of that animal and some tannin showing on the finish, but again, lovely freshness, excellent juice. Then on to the Piedmont, my favorite part of Italy, the Nebbiolo varietal. Without a doubt, one of the greatest of all the noble varieties to me. This is a very modest producer from Movello, very traditional, which means old oak, Slovenian oak, and they don't want to mask the terroir with any spice from the oak or anything like that. And this wine has a lovely earthy, truffly note, some potpourri of dried flowers, red licorice spice, really lovely complexity on the palate, but smooth and elegant, silky texture, even though it's a young Nebbiolo. You still get some tannins, but Barbarescos tend to drink much better young than Barolo for some reason. Those pretty spice and floral notes showing through on the finish. Excellent juice, wonderful balance. This 2007 vintage, very charming from the Piedmont for $38.06. I guess we need 6 extra cents or something. I don't know. Excellent value. Barbaresco under $40. It's very hard to find this quality range. All right, the Rivalvola, Schiavonovole from Nero di Avola from Italy. I'm sorry. Rivo Favare Spaccaforno. Italian's not my bag either, other than wine Italian. But some of these names from the south, Nero di Avola. This is one of the 2 wines produced at this estate. This is the only producer that Kermit has in Sicily. Unlike some importers, he doesn't want to rule the world. He usually picks 1 or 2 producers in an area. And this wine is really big, lots of fresh black earth and some dried meat notes, black licorice spice, mocha. Really big, but again, this wine's got wonderful freshness. Anything that Kermit does, like I said, is going to have a certain typicity for that region. And also, it's not going to be over the top. It's going to be really balanced wine. An excellent Nero di Avola here. And then Fattoria Moretto, Lambrusco, Secco, which most people think of Lambrusco and they think sweet. And most Lambrusco is sweet, and this is from Emilia Romagna, which is much better known for its food than its wine, but still, this is a Charmat method sparkling wine. So for me, even at $20, which is somewhat reasonable for a high-level wine, Lambrusco is still Lambrusco. It's a wine you eat with pizza and pasta. It's not something that's very complex, never will be. And, it's bone dry on the finish, so it's going to appeal to more serious wine drinkers. Kind of hints of raw meats here. Maybe a nice pairing with charcuterie would be good with this as well. And kind of fresh grape juicy notes on the nose. And really nice floral, pretty notes here as well. And then again, some lovely berry fruit coming through on the palate. That lovely little carbonation, kind of leaving your tongue refreshed, but still fairly simple wine at $20. Lambrusco, just not my bag, baby. Anyways, that's what we had to drink at the Edge. Chef Aaron Brooks put out some nice food. I love that little lamb loin dish he did. Check it out, the events we've got going on. Some of the best values on every other Tuesday at the Edge Steak and Bar on Brickell in the Four Seasons Hotel. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.